Hello, my name is Philip Totaro. I'm the founder and CEO of market research firm IntelStor. Welcome to your weekly dose of truth to power. Truth to Power examines data driven insights for the energy sector with a focus on renewables. On this week's episode, we're looking at capacity installations and market share of renewable energy in the European region from the IntelStor Future of Renewables report. Europe is certainly the most mature market for renewable energy technologies, in that they are further along on the transition away from fossil fuels amongst their power generation sources than any other region in the world. Europe already had a significant adoption of renewable energy installed capacity dating back to the year 2000, but in the past 25 years, they've achieved a world leading renewable energy market penetration as countries have weaned themselves off coal and are no longer buying natural gas for power generation. Europe began the year 2000 with the highest penetration of renewable energy power generation capacity of all the global regions at just under 35% of renewable versus non renewable sources. The progress that's been made in the past 25 years is nothing short of remarkable. They ended the year last year at just under 78% renewable market penetration, and they're poised to exceed 82.3% renewable capacity by the end of 2030, according to the IntelStor forecast. Germany leads the market with a strong showing in solar PV and onshore wind thanks to a legacy of their manufacturing prowess. The top 10 in Europe all have a very good mix amongst renewable technologies, including Norway, which does leverage a substantial amount of hydropower, of course. For those countries who are members of the EU, they have obligatory targets for power generation from renewable sources that will keep them on the path of capacity additions. But even for non EU member states like the UK or Turkey, they've been decarbonizing very quickly with an eye towards eliminating dependence on imported fuel sources, particularly in light of recent geopolitical tension. Solar PV leads the region in market share with 39.25% as of the end of 2025. Onshore wind has seen enough growth that there's now more than 262 gigawatts installed at a 26.4% market share, having overtaken hydropower at 23.48%. As we've noted globally, offshore wind is making a large surge to catch up to solar PV and onshore wind, but it's still largely in its infancy, despite having almost 100 gigawatts installed globally. There are numerous European countries, including Estonia, Turkey, Greece, Spain, and Italy, that have yet to start exploiting that resource. Biogas has a presence in the market, but with solar PV and onshore wind representing more lucrative payback for investors, there's limited governmental support for subsidies for biogas and therefore limited financing made available. Most of the less mainstream technologies hold less than a 1% market share in the European region. Looking at the evolution of market share over time, there have certainly been fits and starts for things like onshore wind and solar PV, thanks to the inconsistency in policy support over the years. But frankly, that's no different than anywhere else in the world. Much like the rest of the world, hydropower dominated back in the year 2000, but onshore wind already had close to 7% market share, and the capacity growth escalated quickly. By the end of 2025, solar PV led the market, and by 2030, we project that offshore wind will continue to take share away from hydropower, while the other renewable energy technologies remain relatively stable in terms of capacity growth relative to each other. Annual capacity additions have taken a step up since 2021 as new policy mechanisms were put in place across the region. This accelerated after the Russian Federation invasion of Ukraine in 2022, when most European countries had decided to eliminate natural gas purchasing from Russia. That's been further complicated by the recent invasion of the US and Israel into Iran, so we expect this trend to continue. This push for self-sufficiency is leading to significant capacity growth in solar PV, onshore wind, and offshore wind. Annual additions should remain in the 57 to 82 gigawatt range throughout the European region until 2030, but Europe is coming towards the end of their decarbonization phase, and they'll need to focus more on repowering in the next 10 years compared to significant investment in capacity buildouts. Europe began the 2000s with 214.1 gigawatts of installed capacity for renewable energy technologies. Through the end of 2025, that's grown 364.9% to just a fraction over 1 terawatt. By 2030, IntelStor can forecast that another 330 gigawatts of new capacity will be added, with another 25.7% growth in total installed capacity from where we are today. While it should be obvious that onshore wind and solar PV have taken over and heavily influenced the regional growth trajectory, the projected growth of offshore wind is noteworthy as it has now overtaken solid biofuels and all other minor renewable energy technologies for the fourth largest installed capacity in the region. Keep in mind that offshore wind started in only 1991 and has accelerated dramatically since. By 2030, solar PV should achieve an installed base with 562 gigawatts, onshore wind should be at 339 gigawatts, and hydropower with 237 gigawatts, according to IntelStor's forecast. Offshore wind will see faster acceleration with new buildout in Poland, Germany, the Netherlands, and the UK leading the way. Tenders in Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Estonia, and eventually Spain and Italy should help to solidify the trajectory of offshore wind within the region. Given hydropower's stagnation in capacity growth, offshore wind should be able to surpass it by 2040 in installed capacity, likely to be around 250 gigawatts. Solid biofuels will continue to see modest capacity gains and will end 2030 with approximately 34.7 gigawatts. Chemical heat and hydrogen, as well as biogas, can also expect to see very modest gains compared to the more mainstream renewable energy technologies, but they will grow. With the significant regional interest in diesel replacement for transportation, we're a bit surprised that more liquid biofuel technology adoption has not occurred in the past, but along with geothermal, concentrated solar power, and even waste to energy, they seem to be more novelty technologies than mainstream solutions at this point. Thank you for joining me this week. I'm Philip Totaro, and this has been your weekly dose of Truth to Power. We'll have more to come from this IntelStor exclusive report, The Future of Renewables, next time on Truth to Power, including a look at the generation and efficiency of renewable energy technologies in the European region. In the meantime, you can follow us on IntelStor's YouTube channel, as well as your favorite audio platforms, and visit www.intelstor.com to join more than 250,000 subscribers to our renewable energy data solutions. We're adding subscribers faster than ever, so don't miss out. Register today. A full analysis of the global renewable energy market is available to online subscribers of this new exclusive IntelStor report, The Future of Renewables. And tickets are on sale now for the next Wind Summit event in Houston, Texas, on the 3rd and 4th of November 2026. Visit www.windsummit.org and join hundreds of your industry colleagues to discuss all the latest trends in O&M. We've got speakers and panelists lined up from companies like NextEra, EDPR, EDF, Pattern Energy, ExxonMobil, WEG, and more. So don't miss out. Register today. We hope to see you there.